Hello, I'm Flamingo, and I'm doing a blog on my own this time. And this blog is actually about a film that I just recently saw, and I saw it last night. And it's called A Clockwork Orange. It was made in 1971 by Stanley Kubrick, the man who made The Shining and 2001: Space Odyssey, to name a few. This film, when it was originally released, had an X rating. It was very hard edge for a lot of the people at the time, and it was because of the heavy violence, and in the first half an hour it has so much sex in it, like people thought it was as bad as a pornography film. And basically, what ended up happening, British kids took it the wrong way and started doing a lot of very violent things, and even a lot of editors and papers, just so they wanted to make headlines, were blaming all these weird attacks on the film. And so Stanley Kubrick pulled the film from England until 2 months after his death. They decided to re-release it in England, and for it to be public for the English. But before, the British actually used to have to get it from different places, like on VHS in the future. And anyway, this is my review on A Clockwork Orange. A Clockwork Orange is one of those movies that, of course, it's R now. Um, and it ended. It's when I saw it, I actually did not know 100% what to expect. You know, I knew who Stanley Kubrick was. I had seen many of his films before, and they were really good. But it's this one, in my opinion, is a little different from many of the Stanley Kubrick films. Um, he has his twist on it, but it's still different. And it was because, Stanley Kubrick did make In the Wisest, Doctor Strangelove, and 2001: Space Odyssey. Those are like PG movies. This was, even today, is very cutting edge for any new people to see it. Anyway, for those who haven't seen it, I'm not going to blow everything, but it's kind of about futuristic Great Britain, but it doesn't have like flying cars and like Star Wars. It's actually a very really realistic future. For 1971, it was realistic enough that this could happen in 10 years, and you could even say that watching it today, that these things could happen in a decade. It just has things. If things just don't go straight and youth gangs take over, certain things that the government used to have control of, and the government can't handle everything, it could happen very sadly, and everything would become a living hell. And it was based in a part of Great Britain, and the main character Alex, performed by Malcolm McDowell, great performance. I think he should have at least been nominated for Best Actor. Ended up, in a nutshell, was in a group, and they were called Droogs. And basically, the first half an hour of the film is, when you first see it, you're like, why the hell are they showing this? It adds to the effect for the later half of the film. What happens is, in a nutshell, they beat up old men. They beat up this old man. They beat up this gang who was actually raping a girl. They steal from people, and they actually rape a rape an older woman, and they beat up her husband. And that is the first half. And then, the lead character Alex ended up killing a lady by accident, and is really like, oh dear. And he actually hears the police coming once he does this, and he's like, oh shit. And then he goes out, and his friends, his gang of droogs, betray him. And actually, how they do it, they grab a milk bottle and they smash it against his face, and he's temporarily blinded until the police pick him up, and then he's thrown into jail. And then he's in jail for some reason. He kind of turns a new leaf. He kind of sees things differently. And this is because he ends up helping a preacher in the jail, and he ends up reading the Bible. And for some reason, it changes his aspect, and he becomes it's a huge schizophrenic change. You get so used of Alex being a brute, being kind of an asshole, and it ends up being where in prison he's a nice, loyal citizen. In jail, what ends up happening? He hears about this treatment that makes you get released from jail quicker, and he becomes interested because he believes that he can change. And of course, if he just goes up, he's like, "Oh, trust me, I changed." That doesn't happen. It never will or has happened. But this is a future, so they end up creating a new process. Sorry, I can't remember what the process is called. It's a weird word. It's a different process where they actually can, it seems like, change a person's view, turn against everything they used to do, and admit to all their wrongs. And how they do this, it's crazy. I really credit Malcolm, but this is ludicrous what they do. One of the things, they strap his eyes open with these like pin things where he can't even blink, and he has to watch these films. And one example of the films was it showed a lot of things that actually the character Alex used to do. They showed videos of beatings and rape, and so he ends up going crazy. And then they show Nazi video. I believe they show all this Nazi footage to the Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, which used to be Alex's favorite musical piece in his life. He loved Beethoven. He actually said throughout the movie, good old Ludwig van. There's really cool language in that, lingo going on in that film, so that's cool. Um, but then he tends to hate it because it seems like his mind is not the same. They're turning everything that he thought was right against him, and so I think it's when he yells. He's in a straitjacket as well, by the way, I should say, and he starts screaming. He's like, "Stop it!" He's going really insane. I think it's not funny, but like it seems like some of it's not acting. I think Malcolm really did not. They actually say that Malcolm became restless and accidentally bumped a clip and actually scratched his cornea. So it was very apparent. It's not a nice set. The doctor actually was there to drop eye drops every 5 seconds to keep his eyes moist. I don't think that was originally planned for the film, but it was a safety thing. And basically, the treatment works, and Alex gets released into the real world again. And then when he gets released, I don't want to blow the ending for people. That's just the first. That's, I think, more than half. That is actually, I think, about 70 to I think maybe 65% of the film. I don't want to blow the ending because the ending is a very opinionated thing, and so I want people to see it and think for themselves, and maybe post a comment to think what they think. I think it's basically clockwork. What comes around goes around. Where he started. He ended up realizing he was good, but then people that he did bad things to started to blow, and they actually end up beating him. It comes around, goes around. But he ends up being the same at the end. He kind of like, it's almost like, it just went in a circle. There is no end. And then orange, to me, the orange represents a perfectly knit society. And it's all perfect, and Alex has to live in this weird futuristic world, and so that happens and stuff. And A Clockwork Orange, I must say, is one of my favorite movies now. I've only seen it once, but it's so imagery. It's so much imagery goes through it, and it's just a terrific film. It's so vile. I actually can't deny it. It's a very vile film. And I can't even probably listen to the song Singing in the Rain the same way. You'll see if you watch it. And, it pushed the boundaries. But it's such a great film. And, it's one of those classics where the moral in it talks about teen life, because they are teens in it. And that, sadly, we get in so much rambunctious things. It's one of those things where the message, it will be strong forever. I think teens should actually watch it. And the problem is, though, it's not appropriate. It's beyond. It's not at all. I know if I watched this with my parents would be appalled. Or maybe they. I don't. My mom hasn't seen it. I know that. I don't know if my dad has, but it's such a great movie. And I think teenagers would get a weird look at this and start to think, about their actions maybe first, that things can go awry. So thanks for watching this video, and watch Clockwork Orange, and yeah, thank you for your time, YouTube.